It's 5:30 in the morning, and I've just decided to do reaction to Eminem's new album, The Death of Slim Shady. And it might actually be good. Hold on. Eminem might have just actually made a good album. And it's been a while.
You call that radio?
We've got to, like, I'm a massive Eminem fan. Like, anyone my age who's into hip hop was pretty much. The Slim Shady LP, the Marshall Mathers LP, game changing. It was incredible. The Eminem show as well, really good. Encore, decent. And I actually like Relapse, which is the fifth one. A lot of people don't like it because it had too many of the accents, but I found it quite enjoyable. I think it was going through a drug thing. I know the Eminem doesn't like the album. Then after that, everything else after that, it went a bit, no for me. No for me. There was those kind of sort of recovery albums where it was like doing songs with Rihanna, Ed Sheeran, or whoever was number one in the charts at the time, making those pop songs. It's not for me. It doesn't mean it's bad. It's just that stuff, that style wasn't really for me. He's doing, collaborating with people that in the past he would have been slagging. And then more recently it's been kind of the fast rapping, just showing off his technical skill, which I admire. I admire the technical skill it takes to rap that fast. The breath control, the technique and the lyricism involved. But there was a lack of songs there. There's been a distinct lack of songs. He's had the odd good feature, but really, the first two albums up there, then it started going down to about Relapse. Then anything after that, I just wouldn't really play it. I wouldn't really listen to it. And it's not that it was bad, it just was not for me. So bearing that in mind, I'm halfway through the album right now, and I've decided to just start reacting, because this one might actually be good. The production is good. The songs are actually like songs, real songs. It's not just a million miles an hour rapping. There is songs, there's a concept to it. And I think that's the major difference between that and a lot of his other stuff. Is obviously he's got older and he doesn't want to be controversial for the sake of being controversial. His views have changed a lot. With stuff that's going on in American politics, I think he wanted to not be on the wrong side of history or whatever. But he's found the cheat code by having a concept album about the death of Slim Shady, about cancel culture, and by going through his alter ego Slim Shady, you can hear the sort of the internal war between what people want to hear and what he actually thinks. And so far, I think this might actually be good. So I'm just going to pause it now and listen to the second half, and I'll give you my final review. Okay, I've just listened to the entire album now, The Death of Slim Shady. The second half's probably not quite as strong as the first half, partly due to the fact that they had to add in, the slower songs, songs that, in a vortex I'd probably think was a bit cheesy, but when you've got the backdrop of all this offensive stuff and this old Slim Shady, it's actually quite moving. Songs like Temporary and Somebody Save Me, it works really well. I mean, it's that nice balancing act where you've got proper hip hop all the way through, and then you've got nice songs as well. So yeah, the first half is definitely stronger, but as a whole album, as a whole concept album, best thing he's done in decades, man. I think if you're an old school Eminem fan, you're going to love it. As for features, so because it's so new, it's literally just came out an hour ago, Spotify and Apple haven't updated the features yet, so they didn't announce the features before, so that it didn't give away too much of the album. But off the top, could there be? Well, I was looking at all the song credits. Rappers are using their birth names, their government names, so I'm not exactly sure who's doing all the production on it. It was a lot of names and a lot of writers that I didn't recognise. Production, Dr. Dre's got a couple of songs on it. There is songs from Eminem's obviously producing some of it. Louis Resto seems to be on a lot of it, maybe most of it, and a bunch of names that I don't recognise as their birth names. So, but the production's phenomenal throughout. No complaints there. The song structures are fantastic. The main thing is that they've captured the old voice of the old Slim Shady, and they've slowed them down. If there's ghostwriters involved, I don't care. I don't really care, because what you've got is a nostalgia trip here, where you've got the old Slim Shady voice. It's slow enough that there's clarity to every word. The voice is back, the clarity's there, the lyrics are sharp, everything's on beat. There's not any mad crazy beats on it. It's all pretty straightforward hip hop, but still sounding modern. So if there's ghostwriters involved, I couldn't care less. It's a good album, and at the end of the day, that's what this is about. After so many sort of disappointing albums, in my view, I wasn't the demographic for it. It's great to have it. Features that I did recognise just by ear was Bizarre, Mr. Porter, Skylar Grey, Easy Mill, which is Eminem's newest signing to Shady Records, and obviously we knew that Big Sean and Babytron were in it because they released Toby a couple of days ago. And when Houdini came out, I was excited because it reminded me of that old Eminem people. Oh, that's just shit. What they didn't understand is that back in the day, what Eminem used to do was he would start with My Name Is, or with Without Me, or Real Slim Shady, a kind of poppy song where he's talking about topical things and just having a bit of fun. And then you would usually get, I don't know, a song like Stan or a pop song that would come after it's a bit slower. And then all the album tracks were usually the good stuff. It's where you'd find the stuff that I liked anyway. So, but then when I heard Toby, I was like, it's a good song, Toby, but it felt to me like an album filler. Songs would be like, oh shit, is he leading with that? But it's actually a great song. It fits nicely in the concept of this album towards the end. So, yeah. Is it offensive? Yes, it's very offensive. Some of the punchlines, you've got Christopher Reeves, Bruce Jenner, they get it all the time. And it does lose a bit of the shock value after a while when you've heard repeated jokes about stuff like that. But there is a self-awareness to Eminem throughout the whole album. So things like, during Guilty Conscience 2, he's arguing with himself, he's arguing with Slim Shady, and he's well aware that, talking about why we're making jokes about trans and little people and Christopher Reeves and Bruce Jenner and stuff like that. So there's a knowing nod and wink to all the controversial stuff that's been said. So it's going to cause controversy. People will take lyrics or songs out of context and say it's the worst thing ever and it should be cancelled. But I mean, that's not really how art works. This is a concept album, and he's basically fighting with himself over the fact that he doesn't believe these views. He's aware that it's shock value. That's what I get from it. It's like, but some of it is funny to hear him unleashed again. But is that constant battle between should they be doing it, should they not be doing it? So I think that you've got to, have the context of knowing, that Eminem was the Slim Shady persona. The first couple of albums made him the biggest rapper in the world ever. He outsold everyone, and it was because of that Slim Shady thing, and because he's got older and more mature in his views. He's told all his stories a million times. I feel like he was in a sort of tough spot where he was not going to be able to say things that he didn't believe in, and this is just by actually arguing with Slim Shady over it. It's a great concept. I think it really works. If you're easily offended, don't listen to it. And if you don't like Eminem, A, don't listen to it, and B, don't go on Twitter or social media complaining about it, because it just gives free publicity to the album. So if you don't like it, just don't listen to it and ignore it. It's not going to be for everyone. Like I said, Christopher Reeves, Bruce Jenner, Ja Rule gets it a couple of times as well. But there's also some new targets like P. Diddy, Lizzo, Kanye, the Jelly Roll, Belly Roll. There's some new targets in there as well. So yeah, the callbacks are great for the nostalgia of things like the Paul Rosenberg skits. Paul Rosenberg appears twice on it, and a lot of people ask me, is there It Feels Good to Be Back? Is there the Ken Kaniff skit? Is there the obligatory Ken Kaniff skit? So, it's my first listen. I liked it. I thought it was good. It was the first Eminem album since Relapse that I've actually listened from start to finish, really enjoying it. And I'm looking forward to a second listen. Maybe I'm just sort of hyped up on lack of sleep and the nostalgia of it all. But I'm quite buzzing with it. I think it's great. I'm looking forward to a second listen and a third listen. And, just sort of soaking up a bit more of the wordplay. But yeah, if you're an old school Eminem fan, you're going to love it. And if you're easily offended, just don't bother, I would say. But yeah, it's a good album. I'm wearing a Scheme Hing t-shirt. Shouts to Scheme Hing and CCTV. This is You Call That Radio, by the way. We do a live podcast. We do the news and reactions and stuff like that. So if you've enjoyed this, give us a like and subscribe. And I'd just like to know what you think about it. Am I seeing it through rose-tinted spectacles because I'm old and I miss that old Eminem? It's sort of like it takes me back to being young again. Am I just being old and it's actually shite? I'd like to hear a young person's perspective on it, and also people that are a bit older as well. Is it good? I'd like to hear your thoughts on it. But like I said, as somebody who's not really enjoyed much of Eminem's work since Relapse, apart from the odd song and the odd feature and stuff like that, I think it's really good. It surprised me. It's actual real songs. It's good rapping. The old voice is back. The humour's there. Yeah. If you're a fan, check it out and let me know what you think. Bye.
I got you. Ready? Yeah, he's 1, 2. 1, 2, 1, 2. Yo, this is Charlie Tuna from Jurassic 5 live and direct here in Glasgow, Scotland, and you call that radio?